All right. Hi, everybody. This is Patrick Dallin with my final project. I am having some technical difficulties with my own computer, so we're going to try and do it on my work computer, which doesn't have a camera on it. So we're going to do this, and then I will post the PowerPoint just to make it a little bit easier, but hopefully we can get through this way. For my final project, I have chosen to speak on Kishwaukee College. Kishwaukee College is a 2-year institution within the state of Illinois that I used to drive by every day on my way to work when I worked in probation. It is a rural institution. It has 3 different counties that it serves in Illinois. It serves DeKalb, Lee, and Ogle County. Together, those institutions have, those counties make up a population of around 100,000 people. Just some basics about the institution. It was started in 1968, so they just had their 50th anniversary in 2018. Since 1968, they've had 25,836 degrees given out. They are a rural institution, so they are serving a rural area. They're surrounded on all 4 corners by corn. They have a mission of improving the lives of the community through quality, affordable education. And they want to be a leader in providing innovative education to the local community. So one of the reasons I chose to do a 2-year institution is just because I find that the vision and the mission of these institutions is often something I personally identify with as somebody that went to 2-year schools to supplement their schooling at Iowa State. A little bit more about the institution. They are a member of the Illinois Community College System. So in the state of Illinois, all the community colleges are together underneath one umbrella. For the Kishwaukee College, they serve District 523. So as you can see, it's kind of in the middle there. The closest other institution for individuals in this area is NIU, which has a price of more than double, $12,251 compared to $5,146. Excuse me, for a student that is taking 15 credits. Let's put you back there. Awesome. As far as a head count, the institution has been having issues with enrollment decline essentially since 2015, and enrollment of students that are in non-credit and credit hour classes have been declining. So in 2019, the fall, they were serving a total of 5,754. This is an issue that is a problem for Kishwaukee College, the Illinois Community College system as a whole, Illinois as a whole, and also NIU in the neighboring area, which had their 50-year low last year for amount of students served with 16,609. Additionally, at the same time, prices are still going up per credit. Last fall, the cost of attendance was $172 per credit, which is cheaper than NIU, but is pretty expensive when you're comparing it to other community colleges. So, for example, the Illinois Community College System, at an average, they had a cost of $140.28 per credit hour, where Kishwaukee College is essentially $30 more per credit hour for that. In Ogle County, I thought it was just kind of important to state, roughly the median household income is $57,655. So something to keep in mind as college leadership is deciding on tuition raises and how they are going to attract students to go to their university, or their institution, I'm sorry. As far as strategic initiatives, the president sets forth a plan. There are 5 different areas of growth that they want to see the college go towards. These are all based on prior strategic plans, and they kind of build one after another on each other. So there is 5 areas: student success, external partnerships, valuing employees, in continuous improvements, and resource management. I did not like their strategic plan because of just the lack of detail that was in there. It was essentially a list of areas and then specific goals, but they don't really have a lot of trackable or measurable goals. For example, only a few of them are really trackable. So like an increase of number of local athletes on teams to 75% of participants. Like we can track that. But in terms of like overall growth and overall health of the institution, what exactly is that doing for it? And then another one was just increasing student internship and work-based learning by 10%. So you can track the people that are in internships, if they're in internship classes or if they self-report that. But as far as other goals that are kind of more lofty, or is new and for student success, creating new and redesigned programs and offerings, complete the 2 degrees in 3 years partnership and launch, enhance and support professional development, align curriculum offerings with student enrollment. So kind of just, it's a lot of different things that they want to accomplish without a lot of concrete steps to take them. As far as Kishwaukee College and relating it to our text, they have to think about trends, forces, and external conditions of the university. So there is first an exodus of Illinois students. This has been going on essentially since the recession, but it's gotten to a pretty dire situation because roughly half of students in Illinois high schools are leaving the state of Illinois for other employment opportunities outside, or employment and I guess school opportunities outside the state of Illinois. So this hurts essentially the college enrollment. It hurts the economic, and it also creates a difficult situation for government where they have to determine how they are funding higher education if Illinois students are not attending. The second kind of external trend that they need to take into consideration is the declining Illinois population. They have, so in 2019, 51,250 people left the state of Illinois. And the state of Illinois since 2010 has lost 159,700 people. And this has also affected kind of rural areas. A lot of people that are in rural areas are moving just because they don't want to pay for higher, I guess, in terms of Illinois, they don't want to pay higher taxes and not get the benefits that there are other residents are getting in the state of other states. And then and then there's also a declining Illinois Community College student enrollment. So the Illinois Community College system as a whole, in 2010, they serviced 730,335 students. In 2019, they had 500,477 students. So that's a decline of about 230,000 students that just aren't attending Illinois community colleges anymore. So they have a constant decline in enrollment, while their numbers for graduates are essentially staying the same. So in 2019, they had 62,242 graduates. As far as competitors for Kishwaukee College, the big one is going back to out-of-state schools. Other schools are able to offer tuition to Illinois students at a cheaper rate than they are able to get in the state of Illinois. So for example, Kishwaukee College is able to provide the cheapest cost of credit in the district of 523 for the students that they serve. But at the same time, they may be able to attend like DMACC, for example, and pay a little bit more per credit, establish residency in the state of Iowa, and then be able to lower the cost of tuition and get the benefits of living in Iowa. There is another competitor they have to consider is the workforce. As a 2-year institution, this one's kind of a tough one for them because at the same time they are prepping students for the workforce, but they want to keep students coming to Kishwaukee College as well. So Ogle County is pretty good in terms of unemployment. In December, they had a 5.1%. And DeKalb County was even lower. DeKalb is where NIU is located, so just down the road from Kishwaukee. They had a 3.9% unemployment in December 2019. And also kind of when they're thinking about strategies, they need to think about their stakeholders. So they have a list of stakeholders up there: students, faculty, staff, coaches, prospective students, parents, alumni, taxpayers, community, employers, future employers, government, and local businesses. So while that kind of covers a broad range of all of them, they have key stakeholders for the community college there. Those are going to be their students, their faculty, their staff. And then since it is a community college, and especially since it's a rural community college, they have community members that are highly invested in the continued success and that want to see the institution grow and expand, both in enrollment and the amount of people that are attracted to the area to attend school there. So it is located in the small town of Malta, which is essentially you can describe as a one stoplight town. And there's really not a lot of student housing anywhere in Malta. So there's been articles written by community members or comments that I've seen online and discussion boards about the college that they would like to see it grow, so Malta could grow as well, so they could kind of support some of those places and I guess places of of housing or new businesses that students want in their college location. Moving on real quick, as we continue with Alfred, they are talking about value here. So value is something that is important in terms of an institution and what the stakeholders are getting from it. As far as operational excellence, they are the cheapest in the district. So I don't really see that changing. Right now, they are the cheapest compared to NIU for those students that are in the community. Product leadership, they have a very good nursing program, number 17 out of 78 programs in the state. And that's continually been a top ranked program for them. So that if you're going to school for nursing, you can save a ton of money and attend the 2 years at Kishwaukee College and get a great education. As far as their other programs, though, this is an area that maybe needs improvement. They have everything ranging from business, agribusiness, since they are a rural institution. They have welding, and then you can get any type of associates of science that you need, or an associate of arts there. But as far as program prestige, this is really the only program that is top ranked. And then the other terms of value that Alfred kind of touches on is customer intimacy. So when I was looking over reviews of the institution, students really like the faculty attention that they're getting. But they say that there could be a change as far as how admins and support staff are attending to their needs. So right now, there was some comments on this website. Niche is what I've been using, just because it's actual students that are attending and have opinions about the institution. There's this perception that there's just almost an overflow of information, and they just don't know how to get started or how to change paths once they're in there. So there's almost a navigational issue. As far as the differentiation of Kishwaukee, when it comes to what it provides, we got a review up there that says, is an excellent community college for local students who plan to transfer. The experience will help save a good amount of money, and the experience is more similar to a university than a high school. So that's a pretty good review in terms of what this student wanted out of the university. They certainly got. Others kind of described it is what it is essentially what some of the other reviews boiled down to. And when it came to Kishwaukee, it is, you know, a community college. It's cheap, but it's really not that cheap. They have some good programs, but they don't have great programs, and it's going to get the job done essentially for getting you to transfer to another institution. As far as advantages, they do have a ton of different course offerings for everybody. I would say that they're a transfer focused institution. So they want to work with other colleges and establish partnerships. And they are kind of focused on improving the campus and the student experience. So in 2013, they spent $62 million on the new student services building. They're also working on library improvements right now, as well as, you know, making more parking and making the roads around campus better. As far as sustainability, they are the cheapest in the district, but when I was looking at those other institutions in the Illinois Community College system, they are still priced essentially too high. In order for the institution to be successful, they need to focus on collaboration. One of the things that is not really present at the community college, as far as I can tell right now, is a strong internship / work placement program. So the ability for students to take what they're learning in the classroom and apply it in a employment setting via internships or volunteer opportunities, or actually employment offers. So right now that's kind of one of the areas that's lacking. And then finally, just kind of going back to that customer intimacy, the students are there to serve, but at the same time there is kind of a lot of information that they have to go through on their own. Kishwaukee, for being a community college, they have a 16.37 student to faculty ratio, which is actually smaller, or that's actually larger than what they have at NIU, which is a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you would think that you would find a smaller one at the community college, but right now that's just not happening, which has its own issues in terms of our students feeling they're getting a good value, and are they going to continue to attend a university that's essentially or a college, that's essentially kind of hard to get to. There is a bus route, but it comes, not at the most convenient times. It's kind of located in the middle of Rochelle and DeKalb. It's a drive from each one on a 2-lane highway. And a lot of the services are geared towards students that are on campus, even though they're trying to expand their online enrollment. A lot of times their services are mainly geared to those students that are right there on campus. Their current strategies is kind of a little mix of everything. Number one, they're trying to grow their dual enrollment program. So the governor recently signed a bill that is allowing high school students to take as many dual credit classes as they can in the state of Illinois. So they are working on getting their dual enrollment up. One of the ways that they are doing this is through a free program for students that are receiving free and reduced lunch, so they can attend community college classes at Kishwaukee for free. The other program that they're trying to do is partnership with NIU in a 2 degrees in 3 years program. It was started in 2019, but it's not really in full implementation yet. Essentially, students start in high school, then they get an associate's, and then they move on to NIU and they get a bachelor's, all within 3 years. So that's a pretty cool program, and a program that is going to benefit the current students that are attending NIU, or Kishwaukee, that want to actually go to NIU. There was a article that I found about Kishwaukee that found that most of their students that are attending Kishwaukee actually do go on to NIU. So furthering those partnerships is going to be key. They are a part of the community, so they want to make sure that they are establishing good community relations. One of the ways that they're doing this is a Sycamore U program, which essentially gives government employees in Sycamore the opportunity to take 4 leadership classes. If they don't already have their associates, those classes can be used towards associate's degree from Kishwaukee. If they are not interested in that, they earn a leadership certificate. So it kind of a mutually beneficial program. Gets Kishwaukee out there in Sycamore, which is one of the cities that is kind of a little bit further away, and it also benefits local government employees who may be looking ways to advance their professional development. They are focused on improvement, seems almost like all times. In 2019, they spent $744,000 on the library. And just kind of more controversial in terms of their strategy is in 2019, the president of the Kishwaukee College sent out a letter to the students saying that they are done focusing our conversations on declining enrollments. We are going to talk about student success. So essentially going forward, she wants to talk about student success. She does not want to talk about the numbers in terms of who's coming here, who's staying here, and how successful that they are. No, it's who's coming. She doesn't want to talk about who's coming here. She wants to talk about who is here right now, what we can do to make them successful when they are here and when they leave here. Which I found was kind of interesting, if I'm being honest, because I kind of think that's kind of a cop-out. So I kind of did a little bit of digging into their numbers because I wanted to say if student success was really an issue. As far as community college numbers go, for full-time participants, they're doing pretty good. If you attended Kishwaukee College in fall of 18 and you went through the spring and you maybe did some summer classes and then you came back in the fall of 2019, they had a 62.4% retention rate for those types of full-time students. The part-time numbers is where they need some work. So for the same students that were enrolled part-time, they had a 37.4%. And as far as fall to spring persistence, they had a 80.3%. So you started fall 19 and you came back in the spring 20. Those numbers are around 80.3% for fall or for full-time, and 52.8% for part-time students. Sorry. As far as 3-year completion rates, which is kind of what the standard is for community college programs and getting an associate's, they have a 36.5% 3-year completion rate for the most recent cohort, which was fall 16 to spring 19. That is pretty darn good compared to what you look at the nationwide average, which is 23%. And just kind of a historical approach to these numbers, I kind of took a look back. They've consistently been around 80% from fall to spring retention since 2014. And fall to fall has improved since 2014 when they were at 55%. Now they're at 62.4%. As far as Kishwaukee College's kind of plan going forward, I almost kind of think that this is a kind of more of like a strategy of the president rather than an actual need to address student success. So we have, when you talking about Alfred's kind of areas of influence, you have external drivers, you have internal drivers, and then you have the influence of leadership. So this almost kind of seems like an influence of leadership situation. In terms of student success, they also provide services that are going to be helpful for students already. Whether it is childcare, they have a student food pantry, and they have free tutoring in person and 24/7 online tutoring through tutoring.com. So that kind of made me think about what are areas of improvement for Kishwaukee College. Number one, I think that they can't really ignore the enrollment declines that are happening at Kishwaukee. Enrollment has a huge impact on the amount of funding that's coming into the institution. It has an impact on the amount of money that they can spend on student services and student enhancement programs. And essentially, it is going to be key for them in remaining within the community and remaining influential in the community. If you aren't having students that are attending this rural institution, it's going to be tough for them to be competitive and most likely prices are going to have to go up. So in order to take a look at enrollment decline, what I think is a good strategy is to first do an internal study, get a hands-on perspective, I guess, from their firsthand students, staff, faculty members, alumni. What is going good with the program? What are they doing after the program? And what is essentially the student experience? Second would be a community study, just to determine what the program or what the college is currently doing within the community, what they could be doing better, and as far as people in the 3 counties being served, what are the barriers to them engaging in a community college experience. And then finally, just taking a look at the workforce trends. So once they have those information from those 2 different studies, I think they need to plan and adapt accordingly. So this can be through restructuring on campus, changing how students may be advised or what hours different services are offered, as well as restructuring maybe what programs are being offered to students and how they are actually gaining employment experience in those programs. And then just as far as enrollment declines as well, I think they need to explore any ways to potentially reduce their tuition, because right now it is on the higher end of all of the community colleges in the Illinois community college system. So one of the things that I also didn't really like about Kishwaukee is I couldn't find any information on their website or on the Illinois Community College Board website on how they're spending their money. So look at how they're spending their money, doing an audit of that, and look for potential areas that they could stretch. Another strategy would be to continue to grow community and educational partnerships. Right now, they kind of have almost a shotgun approach to this as far as who they're partnering with other institutions. So, for example, they have a Illinois Wesleyan or Iowa Wesleyan program where they can attend Kishwaukee for 2 years and then get a degree in 3 years, an extra year at Iowa Wesleyan online. That's for a variety of different programs, which is great for students, but at the same time, almost half of the students that are attending Kishwaukee stay in the state, so they should maybe focus their efforts on partnership with NIU, Illinois State, Southern Illinois University, Aurora, and Governor State. Those last 4, they don't really have any type of partnerships right now that I could tell. They also need to focus on improving their relationships and their opportunities for students in the local community, because right now essentially it just isn't happening in the ways that it should with a community college, especially if they're truly focused on the student experience and getting them opportunities outside the classroom. And then finally, just look at focusing on improving student experience. So as far as academic advisors, right now they are only available Monday to Thursday 8 to 5 and then Friday 8 to 4. That cuts out a significant portion of students. Also, how students are being able to go and access information right now is more of a cafeteria approach. They need more of an individualized approach. And then finally focused on building a sense of community. So right now their gym is only open during Monday through Thursday. They're closed Friday through Sunday, and they're closed in the summer. So they need to focus on that in terms of making a community where students are able to interact with their fellow students and get the services they need. Finally, there is going to be a lot of different stakeholders when it comes to who are implementing these changes. It needs to be a top-down approach there. Everybody is also involved, so they need support from staff, faculty members, alumni, community members. So they need a strong sense of direction from the top. They can make use of internal studies and surveys, but also they may need to go outside to get a more clear view on how the institution is going. And finally, they just need to figure out how they can implement changes properly. So they need to make sure that they are going through their budgets. They need to make sure that they're going through their planning when they're going through these changes, and do so in a way that is actually going to work. I think that should do it. Thanks.